From too sweet treats to tasteless traditions, these holiday cookies should be permanently retired. The only people who reach for the frosting-topped blocks of flour that are Lofthouse Cookies are children jonesing for their next sugar fix. These cookies are confusing, and we mean that in a bad way. The combination of ultra-rich topping and crumbly flour cookie base is too much for a lot of people, but Lofthouse Cookies do have their fans.
Cookies! Oh, no.
Over on Reddit, there doesn't appear to be a conclusive decision on whether these cookies are too horrible or too good. These conflicting feelings are a 2 a.m. dilemma, not at all appropriate for holidays with the in-laws or swarms of cousins twice removed. Looking for a more palatable alternative? Bake some simple sugar cookies instead and slap some icing on those bad boys. We love these commercial Christmas cookies as much as the next guy, but save them for a last-minute Santa offering or holiday movie night with the fam. They don't belong on the holiday dessert table next to the homemade angel food cake and the coveted peanut butter blossoms. Finding these cookies isn't guaranteed either. These days, the big box stores sell out of their holiday stock 2 months early, which means these Christmas cookies were hitting the refrigerated shelves back in October. So good luck finding them now. The only thing more impressive than locating these cookies in stores in December? Having the discipline to leave them uneaten in the fridge until it's time for the holiday gathering. If you're willing and able to think that far ahead, level up and bake some quality homemade cookies. That pain in your chest isn't from the massive amount of holiday ham you shoveled down at dinner. No, it's the stab to the heart of an oatmeal raisin cookie disguised as chocolate chip. No one feels joy at the sight of an oatmeal cookie on the dessert bar. The only thing that makes them more disappointing is if nobody had the grace and foresight to bake chocolate chip cookies for the table.
You know I hate raisins!
Grandma is likely the only one who would even think to reach for the deceiving sweets, and she probably already has some in her purse. So when you're measuring out your flour and sugar to bake holiday cookies, do everyone a favor and throw those raisins straight in the trash. Or at the very least, toss them in the Chex Mix so people can pick them out. At least they'll have something to do if the conversation gets awkward. We have a couple bones to pick with Thumbprint Cookies. First, who wants to eat cookies that have been manhandled or could be used to identify their baker in a crime scene investigation? We get that bakers have their hands all up in their creations, but please, now that the cookies are ready to be eaten, no more touching. Especially if you show up to Christmas dinner with inch-long acrylic reindeer nails. It's just not sanitary. So if you must imprint something into your cookies, think about faking it with a measuring spoon. Second, these cookies simply do not play well with others. Despite the fact that the thumb crater is meant to act as a reservoir for the filling, the jam inevitably spills over onto other cookies. So forget about putting these cookies in a to-go box or cookie sampler tin because everything will end up slightly sticky. You know how everyone loves to hate fruitcake?
Sends me a fruitcake every Christmas.
Well, Florentine cookies are their less lovable second cousin twice removed. We understand the novelty and comedy of having a slice of fruitcake around the holidays. However, if you're willingly gnawing on a Florentine cookie, you're a serial killer who shows up once a year to the holiday party just to keep up appearances. These paper-thin cookies are more orange and almond than they are cookie. Only someone pretending to love dessert would opt for these over literally any of the other sweet treats on the table. And it doesn't help matters that Florentine cookies are hardly ever made correctly. They're supposed to be a complex combination of complementary flavors with a slightly chewy texture. However, they usually turn out to be a crunchy mess that resembles more of a burnt, sugar-infused granola bar. If you can make it within 10 feet of a Snowball cookie and not get powdered sugar on your ugly Christmas sweater, then you go buy a lottery ticket. These things are like the powdered donut. There's no sneaking one without leaving evidence everywhere. No one really knows the origin of the Snowball cookie, and they seem to be called something different by every family. Whether they're called Snowball cookies, Russian tea cakes, Mexican wedding cakes, sandies, or whatever, they don't deserve a place at the holiday table. They're crumbly, dry, and make a huge mess. Just inhaling around these will result in you coughing up a lung. Instead of the cookie with many names, try bringing almond crescent cookies. Also called Viennese crescent cookies, these nutty cookies have a chewier texture. They're coated in powdered sugar, sure, but they're stickier, which helps keep the sugar where it belongs. If you were to present us with a bowl of molasses and a bowl of tar, we're not sure we'd be able to tell the difference. But we do know that we wouldn't want to make cookies with either substance. For some reason, though, molasses cookies are a thing. A lot of people find the smell of molasses repulsive, while others are fine with its overpowering aroma. This could be explained by the fact that different types and brands of molasses taste and smell different, but that inconsistency is really just another reason to forego this cookie. If you're hosting a holiday party, consider the possibility that, while the smell of chocolate chip cookies gives off an inviting and homey vibe, molasses cookies could have your guests running for the door. If you're thinking about ginger snaps, stop. Ginger snaps take a backseat to those cute little cookie men and women this time of year. And making space for both gingerbread and ginger snaps on a dessert table is just overkill. Ginger in general is an acquired taste. As far as gingerbread goes, it's the novelty and association with the holidays that has a lot of people going feral for the flavor. And ginger snaps are essentially gingerbread, only 10 times worse. Who wants a crunchier gingerbread without any of the fun shapes or sweet icing? Frankly, neither of these ginger treats are ideal for the dessert table at a holiday party, but you could replace them with speculoos. These German sweets are kind of like a cinnamon-flavored biscuit that resembles a more artisanal version of gingerbread. Respectable and festive, they would bring a bit of lesser-known culture to a more sophisticated party. Meringue cookies are the Regina Georges of the cookie world.
Evil takes a human form in Regina George.
They think they're too hot to sit with the other cookies, but really all the other cookies at the table are nicer on the inside and way more approachable. A meringue cookie looks structured and solid on the outside, but crumbles or dissolves to nearly nothing once you pop it in your mouth. As simple as the ingredients are, meringue cookies take practice if you want to nail them, and they're way more fun to make than they are to eat.
How do you know if they're done?
We beg you, bring macarons instead. While meringue cookies can come in different flavors and variations, their traditional white kind is sort of the point. Macarons, on the other hand, leave so much more room for creativity and fun. They can be made in any flavor you can dream up, and you can even mix and match flavors with the cream middle. Putting macarons on a dessert table makes it an event. While meringue cookies are a vibe killer, don't be the vibe killer. Spritz cookies have been around for hundreds of years and have gone in and out of style seemingly forever. Weirdly, however, the recipes don't seem to improve much with time. Spritz cookies may form perfectly in the oven and hold their shape well on a plate, but they crumble with the lightest touch and have very little texture. They don't taste great either, which makes their picture-perfect appearance pretty much worthless. We know you're trying to put that ancient cookie press to good use, but it's time to pack it in on these tasteless, crumbly cookies. If you've been making these cookies for decades, you've gotten your money's worth. Instead, break out those cookie cutters that are taking up space in your pantry. Cookie cutter sugar cookies have more of a unique, personal touch than the overdone Spritz cookie, and they taste better too. And you can decorate the heck out of them. Decorated roll-out sugar cookies are the one basic cookie that's acceptable no matter how sloppy they look. If you're thinking of bringing candy cane or peppermint bark cookies to the party, we promise there are better alternatives. We get that peppermint comes with the season, but please just bring regular peppermint bark or actual candy canes. We don't need subpar spins on the classics. Yes, candy cane cookies are a cute project for the young bakers in your life. Unless you're heading to grandma's house and they're acting as the youngster's contribution though, you should keep those babies at home. They're the perfect Christmas activity, but not well suited for the dessert table. Peppermint bark and the other bark variations that rear their heads during the holidays are some of the best holiday treats around. They're iconic. Don't waste your time turning them into cookies. It ain't broke, so don't fix it. Leave the bark to its own devices. You're welcome.